The story begins as Typhoon Gimi smashes into the coast, and a man sneaks into a shady apartment building. He slips into a dark room and finds a laptop glowing with a creepy message. It says someone's been waiting for him. Before he can react, a shadowy figure shows up, throws him out the door, and drags him away. The man doesn't make it out. Jong-woo, the main guy, is on the phone with his girlfriend Ji-yoon while moving to a new city. On the way, his laptop crashes. He tries to win a new one in a contest, fails, tries to fix it, no luck. After striking out on places to live, he stumbles across a cheap listing on an app. It's Eden Studio, just $190 a month. Drenched in sweat and out of breath, he hikes up the steep roads to check it out. When he gets there, the building looks straight up haunted, old and sketchy. The lady at the front desk shows him a messy room with stained walls. Turns out, the last guy who lived there died, but the price is too good to pass up, so he takes it. Once he moves in, the vibe feels all wrong. One guy just stares through thick glasses like a statue. Another, Duke Jong, laughs like a nut. Jong-woo starts feeling he's made a huge mistake. He checks out the shared areas and they're straight up nasty. That night, Duke Jong and the quiet Nam-bok creep through the hall, chatting with someone we can't see, and then jump them. Meanwhile, Jong-woo's on the roof, lying to Ji-yoon about where he's staying. Next morning, he hears a weird noise above and heads for the off-limits 4th floor. Duke Jong pops up, grinning, and tells him to back off. Around town, the cops are on the trail of someone butchering cats. Jong-woo catches up with an old friend at dinner. Later, he flashes back to his military days and loses it during a street brawl. Back at Eden, some weird guy with a black bag corners him with creepy questions. Jong-woo bolts. In his room, he starts feeling eyes on him. Then he spots a hole in the wall. Someone's been spying. In the bathroom, things get even weirder. One of the residents warns him, "Don't trust anyone, and get out while he still can." Jong-woo's paranoia hits new heights. Nam-bok starts whispering outside his door at night, debating if he should end him. Jong-woo wakes to creepy sounds and finds room 305 drenched in blood. A ghost like Nam-bok rushes him and knocks him down. Next thing, he wakes up back in his room. Chaos is spilling into the halls. He finds out Duke Jong has a twin. All the residents lock eyes like something's about to explode. Jong-woo finally gets it. He's trapped in a living nightmare. Nam-bok debates whether to follow Jong-woo after their tense encounter that evening. In the morning, Jong-woo heads to work, but Ki-hyuk, the guy who broke up the mess last night, stops him. They have an awkward little chat before Jong-woo moves along to the office where most folks seem nice enough. Everyone except Byung-min, who just straight up blanks him. While Jong-woo's stuck at work, things take a turn at Eden Studio. The residents gang up on Hee-jung and stab him in the back with a knife, but it's just a nightmare. He jolts awake, only to hear a loud thud from upstairs. Curious, he checks out the off-limits 4th floor. What he finds there is a bloodied man slumped against the wall. Eyes wide, he turns to run, only to catch an axe to the face. Meanwhile, the cops are closing in on the cat killer. A tip leads them to Eden Studio. Lead investigator Young Hwa questions Duke Jong and brings him in. After figuring out he's autistic, they let him go, even after he calmly admits to offing 13 cats. But while putting up missing person posters at the station, the officers notice something strange. All the missing lived near Eden Studio. Just random chance, or is something deeper creeping beneath the surface? After a rough day, Jong-woo heads out for dinner with his coworkers, but it goes sideways when Jae-ho calls him a freeloader and a drag on the team, awkwardly trying to mix it in with a compliment on his writing. Meanwhile, Hee-jung manages to break out of his ropes and calls Detective Cha, but all he hears is static after begging for help. While he figures out what to do next, Dae-bwaek gets chewed out by Ki-young for slipping up and not watching Hee-jung properly. He reacts by smacking himself hard, over and over. Still no word from Ji-yoon, so Jong-woo drinks alone in his room. He finds a journal under the bed and starts flipping through. It starts off normal enough until the writing spirals into madness. Page after page just says "die" scribbled all over. Shaken, he tries to ignore it and heads out for a drink. On his way back, Detective Cha stops him, the same guy who got Hee-jung's call. Turns out, Hee-jung's not just missing, he's also a wanted man. As the detective heads back to his car, Ki-young shows up and chokes him out. Jong-woo steps outside, searching for him after getting his laptop back in the mail. Then comes the twist. The friendly dentist from earlier? Yeah, he's pulling the strings. He stops Ki-young cold and scolds him for stepping out of line. We see a photo of Eden Studio in the dental office, along with a note saying the group is made up of volunteers. Up on the rooftop, Jong-woo chats about his novel, but the talk takes a sharp turn when Moonzo starts rambling about murder and different ways to end someone. Not wanting to hear any more twisted ideas, Jong-woo bolts back to his room and throws himself into writing, still buzzed from the creepy conversation. Meanwhile, Duke Jong and Nam-bok head out with a body and start digging a deep grave, with Duke Jong grumbling about not getting the chance to do it himself. After dreaming about his army days, Jong-woo wakes up and notices Nam-bok's room is empty. He asks around, then drops some dust on his laptop, a little trap to see if anyone's been snooping in his space. But just as he heads outside, he freezes. Nam-bok is standing in his doorway, silently watching him like a creep. Brushing it off, Jong-woo leaves. Moonzo, now acting like a ringleader, tells Duke Jong to take care of Unit 310. As Jong-woo walks away from Eden Studio, the trio continues holding Hee-jung captive. With his mouth forced open, Moonzo calmly picks up a scalpel and tells him it'll be over soon, then starts yanking out his teeth, one by one. Back at the station, Constable Jung-hwa gets a visit from a worried woman. Her husband's gone missing, and she says he was terrified before vanishing. Turns out, he lived at Eden Studio too. At the office, Jong-woo's all over the place. He keeps glancing at Byung-min but doesn't dare ask for help, still burned from how he was treated before. As everyone sits down to eat, we're hit with a grim montage, Hee-jung getting his teeth pulled while others enjoy their meal. After lunch, Jong-woo stays behind to grind through work, blowing off Ji-eun to pull extra hours. Meanwhile, Jung-hwa starts connecting the dots from Deok-jong's rambling earlier. She digs deeper and begins sketching out who's really living at Eden Studio. It looks like there's a family tie between the twins and Bok-sum, especially as we catch them together, dragging out another body like it's just another chore. Jung-woo hides in the shadows, watching as they haul it down the dark street, whispering heave-ho, like it's some twisted bedtime song. While keeping an eye on the twins, Moonzo shows up and ropes Jung-woo into the scene. He casually says they shouldn't be moving trash at night. Acting slick, the twins claim the blood is just food waste. When Jong-woo opens one of the bags, he jumps back, face pale. Moonzo quickly says not to throw away a dead cat like that. Back inside Eden Studio, they gather in the kitchen. Jong-woo offers Moonzo some food. After one bite, Moonzo grimaces. It tastes off. Then, as the lights flicker, he drops a dark joke about human flesh and flashes a smile at Jong-woo, leaving things on a spine-tingling note. After making a hasty retreat from Moonzo's dinner joke, Jong-woo heads back to his room to find everything unspoiled, while Bok-soon enjoys the meat left by Moonzo instead. On the road, Deok-jong is stopped by Constable Jung-hwa, who immediately spots a similar style watch on him as the missing person she was made aware of last episode. Instructing him to open the boot, she notices red blotches which the twins write off as food waste. After a brief moment of panic, her associate shows his face in the police car, and Jung-hwa makes a getaway. The next day, she returns to Eden Studio in plain clothing, asking about the missing man. Bok-soon tells her the man used to live in Unit 303, the same unit Jong-woo is now living in. And as our oblivious writer walks past, he overhears Jung-hwa mention that the previous tenant is missing, not dead, as Bok-soon would have him believe. On his way to work, the constable stops him and asks questions regarding Eden Studio. He tells the constable about the missing people and previous detective who came by before leaving to head on to work. At the office, Ji-eun shows up, prompting the male members of the office to immediately express jealousy before he shows her outside and into the taxi. As he waves goodbye, he spies Moonzo across the road staring at him. But as a car zooms past, his ghostly figure disappears. Was this a hallucination? Invited back for a cup of tea, Bok-soon drugs a woman as Duke Jong shows up, and it's here we see firsthand that she's part of this elaborate setup. As she ties the woman up and antagonizes her, it turns out she knew the lady from earlier in her life. Back at the station, Jung-hwa phones through to the station looking for Detective Cha regarding the Eden Studio issue. Beginning to see a pattern emerge, she relays her theory onto her colleague who tells her not to worry. The missing detective will show up in a few days' time. As she heads to the dentistry, she tells him about her work. As fate would have it, her dentist is Moonzo. Unbeknownst to her, she relays the case and her theories about who may be responsible to him while he prepares to inject her. On the verge of being drugged, Jung-hwa saves her own skin at the last second by rushing out thanks to an important phone call. Heading back to Eden Studio after hard day's work, Jong-woo is greeted by Bok-sum and given some soup to try, which he gulps down hungrily. It's here she questions him about the conversation with the detective and tells him that if any weird rumors spread, it'll affect her business. Stumbling back to his room, it turns out he was drugged, and the effects of this kicks in almost immediately. Hearing whispers in the hallway, Jung-woo makes it back to his unit, only to find the resident standing outside holding weapons, waiting. As he lies down to sleep, Moonzo smiles evilly from the other room, spying him through the tiny gap in the wall. Jong-woo lies knocked out in his room, feeling sick and all over the place, while Moonzo whispers to Duke Jong next door and chuckles under his breath. Later, Jong-woo wakes up and senses something's off. His laptop looks weird, too clean, no dust, and it hits him that someone's been in his room. To figure out who snooped around, he talks to Bok-sum, who checks the CCTV, only to find the footage from that exact time is missing. Jong-woo points fingers at Nam-bok and confronts him, but Moonzo steps in and shuts things down fast. With no answers, Jong-woo heads back to his room, trying to shake off the nerves. After a quick chat with Moonzo, he pushes the weird vibes aside and crashes. During a meeting at work, Ji-eun gets a call from Jong-woo but lets it ring. Meanwhile, Jung-hwa finds him on the street and asks if anything strange has been going on at Eden's studio. Jong-woo mentions the creepy noises from the 4th floor, but then spots Bak-woon watching from the shadows. Bak-woon later tips off Moon-zo, who calmly says he'll handle it. Jung-hwa shows up at Eden's studio on her own, rocking her police uniform, and heads up to the 4th floor. She checks every room, staying sharp. In one of them, Nam-bok holds a knife to a woman's throat, keeping her quiet as Jung-hwa walks right past. She eventually finds a dentist chair and keeps moving. Nam-bok starts tailing her, but she doesn't find anything and heads out. Back inside, Nam-bok returns and freaks. His victim's gone. The woman slips out and manages to stop someone for help. Sadly, that someone turns out to be Moon-zo. He sweet-talks her, then drags her back inside and locks her up again. Later, Jong-woo joins his team for a group dinner. He gives Yoo-jung a rose, and both he and Ji-eun seem to be catching feelings. A bit drunk, Jong-woo calls Byung-min a creep and ends up picking a fight before stumbling out. He gives the taxi driver the wrong address and knocks out in the back seat. The driver, not knowing what else to do, drops him off at the police station, where he passes out on a table. Jung-hwa wakes him up, and he finally tells her he's scared of Eden's studio. Meanwhile, Ji-eun shows up at the building, and Moon-zo opens the door with a smile, realizing she's there for Jong-woo. We begin with Jong-woo rushing back to Eden's studio while Ji-eun steps inside, only to be stopped by Bok-soon, who gently grabs her hand and leads her deeper into the apartment building. Jong-woo shows up shortly after, bolts inside, grabs Ji-eun and pulls her outside where they sit and talk about their future. After all the chaos, Jung-hwa chats with her colleague about Eden Studio's shady past. While inside, Moon-zo tells Bok-soon he'll handle Unit 302 this time. As he heads downstairs, he catches Duke Jong off guard after overhearing Jong-woo calling him and Nam-bok out for their nasty behavior. Feeling on edge, Jong-woo goes up to the roof for some air, texts Ji-eun, and starts watching the CCTV footage from the night before. What he sees throws him. He's completely wasted in the video, getting in Nam-bok's face and calling Duke Jong a punk. Realizing things are getting out of hand at Eden Studio, he starts apartment hunting, while Jung-hwa digs deeper. During her search, she finds out Eden Studio landed in Bok-soon's hands after her husband died in a fire, right before the family got a fat insurance payout. Way too convenient. Jong-woo meets Ji-eun the next day, but the second he spots Moon-zo in the distance, he starts acting jumpy and off. Ji-eun, fed up with his mood swings and growing paranoia, walks away, leaving him spiraling even more. Back at the studio, he hears a ruckus upstairs and decides to check it out. Creeping through the halls, he catches Moon-zo stabbing Duke-soo and warning the others, if they can't stay quiet or mess with his plans again, they'll be next. Shaken, Jong-woo heads back to bed but wakes up in the middle of the night to weird sounds coming from the unit next door. He tiptoes out and freezes when he sees himself sitting in a chair, blood splashed across the wall behind. The other version of him grins like a madman, tells him to run, then bursts out laughing, leaving Jong-woo stuck in place, too scared to move. It turns out the figure he saw in the room was just a bad dream. As he wakes up, breathing hard and confused, we cut to Song, who's still thinking over what Moon-zo told her, trying to piece together the twisted puzzle that is Eden Studio. She finally heads to the dentist where she chats with Moon-zo about Spring Orphanage. He answers her questions cool as ever, no slip-ups, no drama. Feeling like she might be overthinking things, she lets it go and heads in for her checkup. Meanwhile, Jong-woo heads out and bumps into the new guy at Eden Studio, Kang Seok-yoon. He gives him a heads up about the other creepy residents, and they walk out together, only to run into Moon-zo. The vibe's weird, but Jong-woo keeps it cool, and after the short chat, he follows Kang, who busts out some hip-hop on the street. Later, over a bite at a nearby restaurant, Jong-woo tells Kang they should seriously think about moving out. Eden Studio isn't safe, but Kang's more curious than scared. He wants to see what's up on the 4th floor. Jong-woo tells him flat out that it's way too risky. On his way home, Jong-woo makes a detour to Ji-eun's place, hoping to surprise her, but sees some random guy dropping her off. He hesitates, but instead of making a scene, he walks away, heading back to the studio. He senses Kang might be in trouble. Back home, Jong-woo finds Kang on the roof, and they talk about all the weird stuff going on. As Jong-woo vents about the other residents, Moon-zo creeps out of the shadows and stirs the pot, messing with their heads. Just as quick as he appeared, he fades back into the dark. The two boys head downstairs to share a shower, trying to shake off the tension with a few laughs, but Nam-bok watches them from the shadows, clearly not amused. Later that night, he stands outside Jong-woo's room with a knife in hand, but Jong-woo spots him just in time. As he fumbles to grab his phone for a picture, Bok Soom shows up and catches him off guard. Jong-woo tells her what Nam-bok's been up to, and she doesn't waste a second. She storms up to Nam-bok and slaps him hard across the face. Then she orders Duke Jong to search his room for the knife. When that turns up empty, Jong-woo dives in himself, tearing the place apart. All the noise brings Moon-jo to the scene, and he catches Duke Jong awkwardly trying to hide the knife behind his back. Jong-woo's grip on reality keeps slipping. Later, inside an internet cafe, he loses it and causes a scene, drawing attention from 3 of the guys, who follow him into a dark alley. But Eden Studios messed him up real good, and when they come at him, Jong-woo grabs a brick and fights back like a wild man, flashing back to his time in the army. Beat up and barely standing, he slumps against the wall. That's when Moon-jo strolls over, smirking as Jong-woo struggles to stay conscious. Moon-jo finds Jong-woo bleeding and barely conscious after being attacked by a group of teenagers. He patches Jong-woo up, saying he will take care of him. Then, the story briefly shifts to a flashback where Moon-jo first meets Ki-hyuk, a new resident at Eden Goshiwon. Jong-woo wakes up tied to a chair in Moon-jo's office. Moon-jo is stitching up his wounds. Jong-woo asks who Moon-jo is. Moon-jo answers in a cryptic way, saying he can be whatever Jong-woo wants, either a dentist or a killer. Another flashback shows Moon-jo talking to Ki-hyuk, who wants to know what Moon-jo's deal is. Moon-jo explains he overheard Ki-hyuk's call the night before and thinks they are alike. He claims he breaks people down and remakes them. The lights flicker in the kitchen as Moon-jo sits with Ki-hyuk. When they come back on, the other Goshiwon residents are behind him, smiling. Moon-jo says he will turn Ki-hyuk into a new person. In the present, Moon-jo tells Jong-woo the same thing. Jong-woo asks if Moon-jo enjoys doing this, and Moon-jo says he will make Jong-woo special. Meanwhile, Jung-hwa and her partner Hyun-ho patrol the neighborhood. Jung-hwa checks CCTV footage from a convenience store and notices Detective Cha's car arrived at Eden Goshiwon at 11 and left at 11:30, but didn't drive away until midnight. Jung-hwa checks the drains nearby and finds a syringe dropped by Moon-jo on the night he killed Ki-hyuk. Elsewhere, police respond to a call from neighbors about the teenagers Jong-woo attacked. At the station, Jong-woo sits quietly while the boys' mothers yell at him. Moon-jo arrives and pays them off. As they leave the station, Jong-woo almost cries. Jung-hwa gives him his ID and tells him to call her if he needs help. On the walk home, Jong-woo stops and says he will move out and repay Moon-jo. He begs to be left alone. Moon-jo touches his throat and says he likes seeing people's uvulas. He tells Jong-woo not to hide anything from him anymore. Jung-hwa calls Detective Cha's division to report that she thinks he was killed or kidnapped, but they say he was seen in the mountains on CCTV and dismiss her because she has no proof the syringe was used on him. At Eden Goshiwon, Moon-jo tells Jong-woo to go inside while he smokes. Jong-woo considers running, but Seok-yoon appears and says the 4th floor smells like blood. He notices Jong-woo's injured face. Jong-woo says he fell, and they both go inside. Jong-woo stands at his door, keys in hand, hesitant. Seok-yoon offers to buy beer, but Jong-woo says he wants to sleep. Inside his room, he finds the body of the kitten he used to feed, but it turns out to be just his shirt. That night, he lies in bed, hands over his ears, trying to block out the voices of Moon-jo and the others in his head. Jung-hwa finds the CCTV camera mentioned by Detective Cha's division. She watches the footage and sees Detective Cha's car go up the mountain but not come back down. The next day at work, Byung-min finds his keyboard destroyed. He accuses Jong-woo, who just stares at his screen. When Byung-min kicks his chair, Jong-woo calmly stands, grabs a mug, and smashes it on his head. He then beats him with the broken keyboard until other co-workers stop him. Later, Jae-ho brings Jong-woo into his office and says Byung-min has minor injuries but has to stay in the hospital. He asks what's going on with Jong-woo and notes that he even fought with Ji-yoon. Jong-woo's expression changes and he demands to know why Jae-ho met with Ji-yoon. He threatens Jae-ho before walking out. Jong-woo sits in a park, wondering if the Goshiwon, his co-workers, or his own identity are to blame. He remembers the fight and grins as he thinks he should have just killed Byung-min, echoing what he said after his military fight. Jung-hwa takes the syringe to a lab. No fingerprints are found, but they identify a common dental anesthetic and DNA that doesn't belong to Detective Cha. Jung-hwa explains that she suspects the Goshiwon due to missing people and dead cats. The text suggests handing the case to a detective, but Jung-hwa refuses. Reporter Jo visits Byung-min in the hospital. Byung-min calls Jong-woo a psycho. Reporter Jo then contacts Jae-ho to meet at the office. Meanwhile, Jae-ho goes to Eden Goshiwon to see Jong-woo. Jong-woo asks how he found him and glares when Jae-ho mentions Ji-yoon. Jae-ho suggests getting drinks to clear things up. Jong-woo accuses him of seeing Ji-yoon behind his back. Jae-ho lies, says Ji-yoon asked him not to tell, and calls Jong-woo selfish. He drags Jong-woo to a bar, tries to offer him a new shirt, but Jong-woo ignores it. Jae-ho lectures him on behavior, then Ji-yoon arrives. Jae-ho calls Jong-woo small-minded, which triggers him. Jong-woo asks if he wants to die, and Jae-ho taunts him. Ji-yoon tells him to stop, but Jong-woo grabs a bottle. She holds him back. Moonjo suddenly walks into the bar. Jongwoo freezes. Ji-eun takes the bottle from him. Jae-ho tries to argue with Moonjo, who says that living in small rooms makes people lonely. He accuses Jae-ho of using Jongwoo for cheap labor and wanting Ji-eun. Moonjo mocks Jae-ho's fake concern and says those closest to you don't always understand you. Jae-ho tries to interrupt, but Moonjo continues mocking him. Jongwoo asks Moonjo to talk outside. On the street, Jongwoo begs Moonjo to stop following him. Moonjo smiles and says once he bites, he doesn't let go. Jae-ho steps outside and Moonjo tells Jongwoo that he saw the way Jongwoo wanted to kill Jae-ho that night. He whispers to Jongwoo to embrace his true self and walks away. Jae-ho offers Jongwoo money to sleep in a motel and tells him to go back home, promising to send his paycheck. Jongwoo tells him to watch his back, which Jae-ho sees as a threat. He moves toward Jongwoo, but stops when Ji-eun runs over. As Jae-ho leaves, Jongwoo shakily tells Ji-eun he meant what he said and warns her about Moonjo. In the taxi, Jongwoo says he's going back home tomorrow and won't return to the Goshiwon. Ji-eun notices his mood changes because of Moonjo. Jongwoo begins crying and says Moonjo is frightening. Reporter Joe sneaks into Jae-ho's office while Jongwoo stays at a motel, realizing the fear stays with him. Jae-ho takes an elevator and sees Moonjo outside before the door shut. At the motel, Jongwoo gets scared by a noise but relaxes when he sees Ji-eun turning on the TV. Jae-ho returns to his office, unaware that Moonjo enters behind him. Moonjo injects him and bludgeons him with a statue. He sees a text from Ji-eun and replies, pretending to be Jae-ho. Ji-eun declines the meeting. Moonjo calls Duke Jong to clean up. Reporter Joe follows Moonjo and makes a call, but Duke Jong catches him and threatens him with a toy gun. Later, Moonjo shares drinks with Seok-yoon and jokes that the meat is human. Seok-yoon laughs nervously. He tries to call Jongwoo, but gets no answer. He sneaks into the 4th floor and hides when Duke Jong and Nambok pass by. As he tries to leave, Moonjo appears, demands Seok-yoon vacate his room, and advances with a hammer. At the same time, Jongwoo wakes up in a hotel. He sees Moonjo in the doorway, grabs a knife, and charges at him. But it's actually Ji-eun. Jongwoo stops in shock. Ji-eun, scared and angry, runs off, ignoring Jongwoo's pleas. She says she tried to understand his weird behavior, but now thinks they should take a break. She jumps in a taxi and leaves him behind. Jung-hwa investigates Detective Cha's disappearance and finds CCTV footage showing his car going up a mountain, but never coming back. She visits the mountain, asks a man about an abandoned car, and finds a canister like one she saw with the twins. Then she finds the charred remains of Cha's car and calls Hyun-ho to confirm the ID. In the hotel, Jongwoo sees texts from Seok-yoon, claiming he drank with Moonjo. Jongwoo feels something's off and calls him, but gets no answer. Realizing Seok-yoon didn't send the message, Jongwoo grabs his knife and rushes to the Goshiwon. At the mountain, detectives show up. Detective Lee scolds Jung-hwa for acting alone. She says she warned them it was foul play. Lee brushes her off until another officer reports finding a body with needle marks. Jongwoo reaches Eden Goshiwon and heads upstairs with his knife. A woman sees him but says nothing. On the 3rd floor, Seok-yoon jumps out and says it was a joke. Jongwoo gets angry, thinking Seok-yoon is working with the others. Seok-yoon insists he's on his side. Then Moonjo's voice is heard, but the hallway is empty. Jongwoo tells Seok-yoon to leave, but Seok-yoon says he can't. He tries to hold Jongwoo's hand and says the neighbors are good people. Jongwoo calls him crazy and walks away. Seok-yoon, bleeding and crying, begs him to stay. Jongwoo ignores him. Moonjo comes out, tells Seok-yoon he tried, but now must be punished. Elsewhere, Nambok mocks Hee-jung and stabs him. Hee-jung fights back but is knocked out. Nambok gets a call from his parole officer, who tells him to charge his ankle bracelet. Nambok lies and promises to do so. Bok soon finds him and surprises him by speaking Mandarin. She tells him she knows he's lying and jokes about her ex falling down the stairs. The body is confirmed as Jae-ho's. Jung-hwa asks about the syringe. Detective Lee interrupts and says they'll check if it matches the drug found earlier. He promises to investigate Eden Goshiwon if it does. Jung-hwa warns someone else might die, but he dismisses her. On the 4th floor, Seok-yoon cries as Moonjo tortures him, showing him a chain of teeth from previous victims. He rips another tooth out. Bok-soon finds Hee-jung and complains about Nambok hurting her property. Duke-jong goes to his room and finds memory cards. He remembers meeting reporter Joe and offering him a scoop on a serial killer, saying he wants to teach someone a lesson and will provide evidence. Moonjo continues pulling Seok-yoon's teeth, planning to send them to Jongwoo. Seok-yoon pleads, but Moonjo adds the teeth to a charm bracelet. Ji-eun looks at the doll keychain Jongwoo gave her while he stands outside her place. He starts to text her, deletes it, and goes to an internet cafe. The next morning, Hyun-ho finds Jung-hwa sleeping after researching Eden. Jongwoo receives a text about Jae-ho's death and immediately blames Moonjo. He remembers Seok-yoon's cries and regrets leaving him. He calls the police to report murders at the Goshiwon, but they dismiss it as a prank. He gets emotional when his mother calls, but tells her everything is fine. Bok-soon chats with another woman about her son studying for the civil service exam. She jokes that sending him to Eden would guarantee success. When the woman criticizes Eden, Bok-soon's smile fades, and she invites her to come along. They go to a karaoke bar. Jong-woo attends Jae-ho's funeral and stares into the mirror. His reflection blames him for Jae-ho and Seok-yoon's deaths. Jong-woo denies it until his co-worker interrupts. Back at Eden, Moon-jo reads Jong-woo's book to the tortured Seok-yoon. Duke-jong reports the cleanup is done and wonders if Jong-woo will return. Moon-jo is sure he will. Duke-jong says, "Life here is good because you can kill anyone." Moon-jo gets up, tells Duke-jong to finish up, and leaves with a package. He meets Bok-soon, who guesses the package is for Jong-woo. She asks about the others and says if Jong-woo returns, they'll have to get rid of the rest. Moon-jo agrees. They will only keep the good ones. Upstairs, Duke-jong offers Seok-yoon meat, but Seok-yoon keeps begging for his life. Duke-jong complains that Seok-yoon got caught by the wrong guy. He gets mad, blaming Moon-jo for doing whatever he wants and for killing Duke-soon. He thinks about killing Seok-yoon, but instead gives him a chance to escape before Moon-jo returns. Seok-yoon stumbles through the hall, but Bok-soon hides him when Duke-jong comes looking with a hatchet. She tricks Duke-jong, but after pretending to leave, he returns and knocks Seok-yoon out. Meanwhile, Jung-hwa and Hyun-ho return to the station and find a poisoned kitten in a box. She suspects Eden Goshiwon and remembers Jong-woo crying about the weird people there. She tries to call him, but Jong-woo, treating it all like a nightmare, ignores it. Chung-hyun spots Jong-woo and checks on him, seeing the cuts on his face. He takes Jong-woo to eat and asks about his situation. Jong-woo reveals he got a job through a friend. Chung-hyun shares how Jong-woo once helped him through a tough time in the army, and that he's always wanted to repay him. At the station, Jung-hwa questions her role as a cop. Reporter Jo meets Duke-jong, who gives him a tin of memory cards for an article. As Jo types, Moon-jo appears beside him and kills him. Later, police find Jo's body in his car. Jung-hwa thinks it's linked to another case, but Detective Lee disagrees. Jong-woo tells Chung-hyun that people who leave Eden disappear or die. Chung-hyun doesn't believe it, and Jong-woo says the police thought he was drunk. Ji-yoon calls, crying. A flashback shows Moon-jo tricking and attacking her. He now speaks to Jong-woo on the phone. Enraged, Jong-woo rushes to Eden, and Chung-hyun insists on going with him. Jong-woo knows there's no turning back. Rookie officer Hyun-ho tells her the detectives found Hee-jung's knife next to reporter Jo's body and now consider Hee-jung a suspect. She tells Hyun-ho to contact her with updates and follow her if she doesn't respond. Inside the building, Jong-woo and Chung-hyun reach the third floor and find Jong-woo's room. On his laptop, Jong-woo sees a message saying someone has been waiting for him. He checks Nam-bok's room and finds it completely stripped. Back in his room, he sees Chung-hyun lying on the bed, unable to move. Chung-hyun drank a health tonic left behind. As the sound of a bouncing tennis ball echoes through the hallway, Jong-woo shuts the door and readies his knife. A shadow passes, then returns when a book falls and a hatchet smashes through the door. Duke-jong breaks through the door under Nam-bok's supervision. They tease Jong-woo, who demands to see Moon-jo. Moon-jo enters and offers to release Ji-eun if Jong-woo kills Chung-hyun. Moon-jo even throws the doll Jong-woo gave Ji-eun. Shocked, Jong-woo hesitates. Chung-hyun, regaining his senses, pleads with his eyes. Instead of attacking his friend, Jong-woo charges the others. They overpower him, and Moon-jo drags him into another room. Nam-bok and Duke-jong corner Chung-hyun, mocking him with a hatchet. In the other room, Moon-jo beats Jong-woo and injects him with something. Jong-woo is thrown into the hallway again, mirroring the show's opening scene. Moon-jo drags his limp body past Chung-hyun, who is bleeding out. Jong-woo reflects that he once thought his old life was hell, but this place is true hell. A flashback shows Jong-woo's family. His mother makes kimbap as Jong-woo rushes out for a trip. She chases him with the food and warns him about people, calling them the scariest creatures. In the present, Jong-woo wakes up strapped to a chair. Ji-eun is unconscious nearby. Moon-jo shows off a charm bracelet made of teeth and says one of them belongs to Ji-eun. He clasps the bracelet on Jong-woo and claims Ji-eun is only sedated. Outside, Jung-hwa reaches Eden in the rain and sees blood on the floor. She arms herself with a taser and calls out for Jong-woo. Bok-soon appears and claims Jong-woo isn't there. Jung-hwa keeps her taser pointed and shouts for Jong-woo to respond. Duke-jong tries to sneak up behind her, but she tasers him while answering Hyun-ho's call. Bok-soon slams Jung-hwa's head into the wall, knocking her out. Bok-soon tells Duke-jong to lock Jung-hwa in the basement with Hee-jung. Duke-jong worries about the police, but Bok-soon says she'll handle it. She jokes about wanting to be an actress. Duke-jong and Nam-bok take the patrol car away while Jung-hwa wakes up in the basement, tied up. Her partner and Hyun-ho arrive. Bok-soon, now injured, pretends Jung-hwa attacked her. The senior officer believes her and pulls Hyun-ho away despite his protests. After they leave, Duke-jong pours gasoline in the hall. He searches for articles exposing Moon-jo, but only finds news about reporter Jo's death. He realizes Moon-jo killed Jo to prevent the story from spreading. In the basement, Jung-hwa uses broken glass to cut her bindings. Nam-bok enters and lies beside her, calling her beautiful. She suddenly attacks him with the glass, but he drags her back and knocks her out. Later, Boksoon brings food, sees the cut on Nam Bok's face, and mocks him. When he talks about being family, Boksoon burns him with boiling food, blinds him, and beats him. As he collapses, she reminds him not to touch what belongs to her. Nam Bok reaches out weakly before Boksoon strikes him multiple times, killing him. She walks out of the basement and sees Moonjo waiting on the stairs. She says they should leave soon, but he tells her to wait a little. She says she doesn't like waiting, and he reminds her that she raised him. Moonjo then asks her to check on 303. Boksoon starts up the stairs to the 4th floor, but Moonjo stops her and says they're in the kitchen. She walks over, but the kitchen is empty. Realizing she's been tricked, she grabs a knife and storms down the hall. As she moves toward the office, Moonjo hits her with a hatchet. She mutters that she should have killed Yoonghwa, and Moonjo shoves her body out the business window. Downstairs, Yoonghwa wakes up. Dukjong finds Boksoon's body and heads to the rooftop, furious that Moonjo has killed the last member of his family. Dukjong pulls a knife and charges Moonjo, but Moonjo survives the blow and slashes Dukjong's throat. He laughs and stabs him repeatedly before leaving his body behind. Meanwhile, Jongwoo struggles out of his bindings while Jonghwa tries to wake Heejung. When Heejung doesn't respond, Jonghwa looks for a way out. She spots Nam Bok's body and uses the wrench Boksoon used to kill him to break the cell lock. A call reaches the station and Hyunho reacts when he hears it's about Eden Goshiwon. Back in the building, Moonjo meets Jongwoo in the hallway and talks about becoming like a god. He says they can kill or save anyone. Jongwoo replies that he is excited to kill Moonjo. They charge at each other and start fighting. Moonjo beats Jongwoo down, smashing his ribs. Jongwoo grabs a scalpel and slashes Moonjo's throat. Moonjo collapses, talking about human nature and calling Jongwoo his masterpiece. Jongwoo attacks him again with the scalpel. The police arrive and take Jonghwa, Jongwoo, and Ji-yoon to the hospital. Later, Eden Goshiwon is locked down. Moonjo's dental office is shut and Jae-ho's company closes. Jongwoo watches the news from his hospital bed. Ji-yoon's boss watches the same report and gossips about the rumors online saying Jongwoo is a murderer. Detective Lee visits Heejung, who cannot speak. He shows him photos and asks him to identify the man who tried to kill him. Heejung picks everyone except Jongwoo. The detectives speak to Jongwoo's co-workers, who describe him as strange and mention his violent behavior. One of them accuses Jongwoo of conspiring with Moonjo and demands his arrest. Yoonghwa explains that Jongwoo rescued Ji-eun after Moonjo kidnapped her. The detectives say Jongwoo confessed to killing Moonjo, but it looks like self-defense. They ask about Nam Bok's death, and Jonghwa says she heard the murder while unconscious. Detective Lee finds that strange. Jonghwa visits Ji-eun, asking if she remembers anything. Ji-eun says her memory is blurry, but flashes back to Jongwoo screaming that it wasn't him. Then Jonghwa visits Jongwoo, telling him he'll be cleared thanks to Heejung's testimony. Jongwoo starts talking about good and bad and says he should return to his novel. She asks what happened that night. The detectives earlier discussed the murders at Eden and say they were done by an amateur, not professionals like in the vacation house case. This suggests that one person killed everyone. Jongwoo avoids answering and walks away. Jonghwa realizes she still has his book and returns it. She thinks she sees Moonjo in the hospital elevator, but shakes it off. As she hands the book to Jongwoo, she hears the tinkle of his bracelet and remembers hearing it when Nam Bok was murdered. The scenes replay, showing Jongwoo killing Nam Bok, Boksoon, and Deukjong. Moonjo's death remains unchanged. Yoonghwa remembers the detective's confusion over why Moonjo would kill his longtime companions and walks to her car, shaken. The flashback shows Moonjo told Jongwoo to kill everyone else in exchange for his life. Jongwoo had agreed. In the present, Jongwoo types die on his laptop. We see he'd been talking to himself, and Ji-eun had seen him during a breakdown. Jongwoo now smiles to himself, his face overlapping with Moonjo's, as Moonjo's voice whispers to him,